everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Psych Mom Show. Today I'm going to answer a question which I got, which is, what if you use porn before your relationship? Should you stop when you get into your relationship? Or should you assume that, everything's fine because she met you and liked you and you're using porn, so must not have a bad impact? No, stop. This is not real. It does have a bad impact. And I'll get to that as soon as I tell you to subscribe. We have so many awesome subscriber episodes, 180, everything from oral sex on women, which many men find to be quite an awakening, and, all the other ones that you care about less. Okay, so the average situation is that you're a guy in your teens or 20s, you look at porn, you masturbate, and then you get into a relationship. And then, sure, you're going to look at it sometimes. Hopefully you're not going to look at it as much, though, because you're having sex with a real live woman. And that's exciting. That needs to be exciting to you. If it's not exciting, then you're with the wrong woman or you're a real porn addict, because there's a lot of younger guys who actually do not think it's as exciting to be with a woman because of porn. It's really sad, because they've gotten trained on seeing these thousands and thousands of naked women doing everything online, and no woman is going to live up to that. So it's like being any other kind of addict. When you are addicted, it hijacks your neural reward system. So the same natural reinforcers like food or sex or whatever, or socializing, hugging, those do not release anything near the dopamine that the drug releases. So you stop wanting those natural reinforcers, and instead you only want the drug. So the sex with a real live woman, she's got cellulite. She's not going to be able to be multiple women all at once. She's not going to do all the crazy shit that you saw online. So if you are really down the hole of porn addiction, you're not going to want to have sex with a real live woman, right? And so that's on the extremes. But then the more common situation is that you're in a relationship, but she doesn't really like the sex because the sex is too porny. And you keep pushing because you want to keep doing the stuff that you saw, all those lonely nights jerking off alone, right? You want to do all that stuff now that you finally have a girlfriend. So you keep using it. So, you did it already. You looked at all that porn. We don't have a time machine, but you keep looking at it on whatever nights you don't see her. And it's almost like you're game planning for what you're going to do when you see her. And when women sleep with men who are really into porn, I've talked about this so many times, but it's terrible, right? It's like, there's this movie Cat Person, and you can watch that for what it looks like when a guy's a porn addict and he has sex with you and he's making these noises from porn and he's saying these things from porn, and it's like you don't even feel like you're there. It's like women have described it like they feel like a sex doll, like it's not about them at all. The guy just needs to get through what I call the porn montage, the various different positions, the lights got to be on, he's got to be staring at you in what he thinks is a sexy way, and it's horrifying, and it's like women have PTSD from being with these guys that are jackhammering them and making these terrible extreme noises and these dirty comments that they would never say if they didn't hear it, and it's just awful. It's as though, I could imagine a funny satirical skit of a guy that's going out with a romance novel addict, and he tries to take her to Starbucks, and she's looking meaningfully into his eyes and elbowing him are you gonna read me the poem now? And it's just everything he does, she's looking at him, waiting for it to be something out of The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks, right? And that's what it's like to be with a porn addict. So if you keep, or just a guy who's really into porn, right? He's not addicted. He could skip a night if he goes back and, stays at his parents' house or something, or if he's on a boys' trip, but, he doesn't have to use it 3 times a day, but he uses it so regularly that he doesn't even know how much it's infiltrating the way that he responds, and the ideas he has, and how he comes off, and how ridiculous it often seems to the woman. So, but anyway, she's a young girl. She's like, she thinks, what do I know? I mean, he's a nice guy otherwise. Sex is a little awkward. Maybe it'll get better. I still can have an orgasm because I knew how to do that since I was 13 years old anyway. So, it's fine. It's fine. He's a good guy. He's going to be a good dad. He's cute. He's smart. When we're not having weird sex, it's fine. This is a good relationship. All my girlfriends really tell me I lucked out. And so then even if the sex is weird and porny and whatever, and like, it's fine. She's young. Everything seems fine when you're young. When you're young, it was like this funny meme, this funny video of the Holderness family. You guys follow that, where she's like, what you need to pack on a trip, like a girl's trip when you're 20 versus 40. When she's pretending to be 20, she's like, okay, I have 5 bikinis. I'll just wear these heels all the time and my sunglasses. I'm good, And then when she's 40, it's like, this is the suitcase with the supplements. This is the one with like 5 different outfits. Like, everything's so much easier when you're young. So if the guy is shit in bed, it's easier to deal with. Who cares? Whatever. You not had much experience anyway, whatever. So many women just like let this go. Now, some women who have more sexual experience are like, why are you doing that weird shit? And like, here's what I like instead. And they could teach the guy. But if he keeps going back to the well of porn, he's just going to think it's boring to have to go down on her for, let's say, 12 minutes instead of the half of one that he sees in porn. And he's not going to really learn well, or he's going to be resentful. But he's a young guy. So he's like, okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm sure over time she'll want to do the one-legged flamingo position, and it's fine right now. She's pretty, she's sweet. My friends all say I really lucked out with her. The same kind, the male version of what I just said the woman would think. So if you're using porn, my point is you don't know how it's impacting the relationship. I mean, now you do because I just told you. But, as a young person, you don't know that. You don't prepare. So what should you do if you're hearing this and you are getting into a new relationship and you're anywhere on the young side or anywhere on any side? Stop using porn. I mean, how clear could I make it, right? It's going to infiltrate your consciousness, your choices, and your sexual style in ways that you cannot predict because you don't know what you don't know. When you go off of porn, that's when a lot of women say that they finally enjoy sex with their husband because he seems present. He's excited to be with them. He's not trying to do any weird staring. He's not trying to do any weird voices. Is not saying, wouldn't it be exciting if you go stand by the open window and she's like, the guy who runs the HOA lives next door to us. What the fuck you talking about? We live in the suburbs, right? So point being that you stop acting weird when you get off of the porn. And so if you don't, then, that's a problem. So sometimes guys only know this stuff from porn. They stop and they don't know what else to do, which is why we have things like Heather the sexologist and all of her instructional videos and all of my podcasts on, foreplay and what it looks like when a woman's finally aroused. And you could read my stuff on erotic blueprints. There's a lot to learn in the absence of just using porn as your template. And then this same guy continued like this question about, but if a guy starts to if he never used porn, but he starts to use porn within the marriage, isn't that like the woman's fault basically? Because she's not exciting enough anymore? Well, shit, I hope I've taught y'all enough about the honeymoon stage and new relationship energy to understand that when the dopamine and adrenaline is not flooding through his bloodstream anymore, he will use the most obvious example in his mind, the easiest example. Occam's razor to him is that she got boring. Can't possibly be that he's just not like a super sex god, man, and doesn't feel anymore like his erection can cut through buildings because he's not in the honeymoon stage where you are on top of the world, literally drunk on new love, which is how our species perpetuates. Couldn't possibly be that. It's that she got boring. And you know what? Sure, he is totally sober now, not drunk. And so she did get a bit more boring and he got a bit more sober. And so between all of that, especially if he's a depressive kind of guy, he needs some more dopamine in the system. He feels like he's in a dopamine desert, so he goes to porn. And he says, oh, yes, because she isn't putting out enough. She's not as exciting. She's not doing what she used to do. No shit, he's not doing what he used to do. He did used to read her poems in Starbucks sometimes, and he doesn't anymore, et cetera, et cetera. And then she, who is out of the honeymoon stage, notices that the sex has in fact gotten worse because now he's pushing in this aggressive kind of porny way. And, and then they end up in my office. So if you don't want to end up in my office, right, then listen to the stuff I'm saying. The porn isn't helpful anywhere. I've said this over and over. It is not going to help you get through your downs, turns in intimacy. It is not a great way to just take the edge off. It isn't giving you ideas for how to be a more exciting lover, all of these things I've heard people say. If you want to masturbate to take the edge off because you have sex once a week and you feel anxious twice a week, because you feel sexual arousal twice a week, masturbate analog. And if it's too boring, then realize you don't have to, right? You don't have to. Some people have asked me, and this is just, add this in for a little extra content just for the hell of it. I could make another podcast for it, but I'll just give it to you for free. Yes, it's porn when you use the pictures and the videos that you took of your current partner because you took those when she was in a different frame of mind, usually honeymoon stage, often drunk. And if you look at that stuff all the time, you're making yourself A, sad that she's not doing that anymore, and B, angry because you're comparing what she is in those pictures and videos to how she acts right now. And then that stuff is getting obsessively wired into your brain, and you start to think more and more that she just could be that person. Because look, she is in this video right now, she is. So she's just obstructing me and choosing not to be as sexy as she was in this video from last year. And that shit is obviously super dysfunctional for your relationship, and it leads to a lot of resentment. And if you are really Mr. Horny Man and really, really, really need to jerk off, do it. Do it yourself. Do it yourself without any extra stimuli. Now, most people that listen to my stuff are 40 plus, maybe 35 plus. And if you wait to have sex for your once a week or twice a week that you're doing it and you don't jerk off, it's going to be so much better for you and for her, but this, intersects with the type of anxious, preoccupied guy that's obsessed with how long he lasts. If all of this resonates with you, you should be in therapy. Yesterday was second best being today, and it is the anxiety is really what's leading to a lot of your sexual behavior, not anything about your drive or anything else. People can wait to have sex, especially if it's the average of once a week. And a lot of people are doing it more than that too. If you are, though, let's say if you're like, yeah, right, I'm having sex like every other week. Okay, so then masturbate on the off weeks, but don't use porn. The porn is a big problem. And so many of my clients have said to me, especially 40 plus, have said to me, without the porn, I don't really want to do it. And that's a shock to them. It's such a shock to the system. And they realize after they get off of it how much it was shaping their lens and how much it was shaping their sexual style. And when you wait, it's just like snacking all day versus eating when you're hungry, right? And so if you wait and you let it build up so that you're having sex when you really want to have sex, those are the encounters that the woman finds transformative. You really desire her. You don't desire her to do some position or some specific act. You, who have made yourself hungry for dinner, as it were, are hungry for her. You find her more attractive. You find her more appealing. You're not comparing her to a million different women and doing a million different things. You're not using her for an experience. You desire her. You've allowed your natural desire for her to build up, and that comes off way different, more romantic, and better. All right. Hope you guys got something out of this, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.